Evening, Tate.
Evening, Jack. How are we?
Good, mate. How are you?
Very well, mate. Very well. Looking very tanned.
Yes, yeah. Nice little bronzed skin colour.
And you were in Portugal, right, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We're in Algarve, a couple of us, so... Yeah, we're back. That's why there's been a bit of delay this week.
Annual trip, isn't it?
Yeah,
Nice place.
Second time, so yeah, we'll... Could be the hat-trick next year.
Did you see any famous faces like you did last year?
No, there was... we met an Irish rugby union player that we had no idea who he was. And it was quite a funny story, actually. He was getting his ear chewed off by some drunk Irishmen. And then we, happened to start talking to him and his girlfriend. And he was so... I think his name was JJ Hanrahan or something. But, yeah, if you look him up, he's a decent rugby player.
Was he wearing boot cuts and brown shoes?
No, he wasn't, actually, yeah. No, he was quite smartly dressed. But, yeah, there wasn't no Fred or James B this year.
No, I'm glad you had a nice time.
Thank you.
What was I about to say? Did you watch any football out there?
Watched a bit, actually, yeah. We saw the West Ham United game. Well, West Ham Manchester United game. Saw a bit of the Newcastle Arsenal spate, really. Yeah, we sort of avoided it. Although, there's plenty of football fans out there. We definitely avoided it, which is good.
And you got back in time for the Real Madrid game, did you, on Tuesday?
We did, actually. Tuesday was perfect. We got back about 7:30, 8. Good. Good time to watch a massive game. Yeah.
Perfect. So this episode we're going to run through the midweek Champions League games. Obviously, Real Madrid versus Manchester City, the Milan derby, AC versus Inter. Moving on to a little bit of a preview in the Europa League games that are actually playing on tonight. They kick off as we record this, it's 20-8. So you may see some live reactions. We have got AZ versus West Ham on the screen in front of us.
Yeah.
Jackson Claret as well, supporting
the Irons.
Supporting the Irons.
Hopefully at AZ Masterclass.
So we'll run through the Europa League games. Roma versus Leverkusen, Juve versus Seville. Moving on to the Europa Conference League games, West Ham versus AZ Alkmaar, Florentina versus FC Basel. But before we get into that, let's start with the teaser, like we normally do.
Yep.
The Championship recently finished at the weekend. And Burnley have won the championship. They won it a few weeks ago, but got the trophy on Monday? Monday, was it? I can't remember. There was Champions League games. Basically, start again. Burnley have recently won the championship and became the 6th side to do so on 2 separate occasions. Can you name the other 5 teams?
Oh, God.
And did you know that's the record? No teams ever won the championship 3 times.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that stat, and I was like...
I didn't even think about it, but yeah. Burnley won it twice.
Yeah. They won it with Owen Coyle.
Oh,
I imagine.
Coyle when they come up, yeah.
I imagine,
I think.
Yeah. Right, so let's start. Should we start at the Bernabéu on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think so.
Tuesday night. The more, how should we say it, appealing tie of the two on paper. And looking back from last year, the 2 legs were just out of this world.
Yeah, they were mad games, weren't they?
And it started off with Man City just being very dominant. I think that's how I expected it to go. And Madrid are such a well-oiled machine and experience. They don't get hot and flustered.
No.
They soak up some pressure and they go and hit you on the counter-attack with devastating impact with Vinicius. And that's literally exactly their game plan went to plan.
Yeah, Pep came out and said, didn't he? City dominated the first half, but went 1-0 down. Real Madrid were better the second half and City equalised. So, yeah, they're just 2 high-quality teams, weren't they? City are arguably the best team in the world. Madrid, they're the holders of the Champions League. It's their competition. They won it 14 times. And for some reason this year, up until now, they were never really thought about winning it. But, yeah, like I said, pardon me, sorry, I need to stop burping. They're 2 incredible teams.
All that Sagres and Superboc.
Superboc. Just 2 incredible sides, and it was always going to be the better tie of the semi-finals.
It sounds stupid saying this, but that sort of happens quite often with Real Madrid. They go under the radar because they win it all the time. But people always think Man City's or like when it was peak Barca, they only ever won that twice, I think.
Yeah, but even this year, last couple of years, they keep mentioning PSG, and Real Madrid just seem to be forgotten for whatever reason. But yeah, they've proven again they're in the last 4. So,
so Man City. So Grealish took a lot of stick, didn't he? Got a lot of fouls, and he was sort of the perpetrator. And because you had him and Haaland. Haaland started off brightly, but didn't really do much throughout the game.
No.
I didn't really think about it until after the game. I actually thought if you were to handpick a defender to defend Haaland, surely Rudiger would be in your top 3, if not the one. He's
Yeah,
tall, strong, athletic, quick.
Nuisance, wasn't he?
He's a nuisance as well. Like
he was always at his heels, and I think Haaland had like 20. Yeah, Haaland 21 touches in the game, fewest of any player. He had a very, very quiet game for himself, and he has not played that way, but he doesn't need to touch the ball. He's obviously all about scoring goals, but yeah, Real Madrid done a job on him, and it worked well. But then, like we say, Man City is all right. You stopped Haaland, good, but there's also 10 other players that will destroy you, and De Bruyne showed that, didn't he? But yeah, you think you stop Haaland, you got a good chance of doing well.
Because they're a bit worried because Militao is normally their first choice with Alaba. But Militao suspended. I wonder if he'll come back in next Wednesday.
What was it? Was he injured at the weekend or?
To be cards.
Oh,
got suspended. Right? Okay. Yeah,
that's true. Actually, yeah, it worked. I mean, I know they drew the game, but in terms of Haaland, Rudiger and Alaba works quite well. Because
Alaba's been the first choice too, has been Militao and Alaba, with Mendy left back. But he's been injured for a bit, so Camavinga has played there. But you could always push Alaba left back and play Rudiger in there if you wanted to. But and then it was just after half time, wasn't it? The equaliser, like you just mentioned, it was the 67th minute. But like you said, Real Madrid had a few chances. They started the second half more brighter. But what a goal again! I think it was laid into who got the assist? Was it Bernardo Silva? I think
someone just rolled it back.
Rolled it back to him, and he just walloped it.
Yeah, what a strike!
Walloped it past Courtois, who I thought had a very good game as well.
Yeah, it was De Bruyne hit it, and it just one of those. It obviously stayed hit, but probably rose off the ground by like a foot, if that, and just well, it's similar to Vinicius goal in that it was already past the goalie before they died.
No chance.
Ridiculous. Both ridiculous strikes.
Just while we're on the goals, have you seen that horrendous clip, really cringeworthy, of Rio Ferdinand in the studio?
Oh, isn't he just awful? Like, just attention seeking. Don't get it. I just don't understand it. Something
I actually saw online, which I thought was very true, is it might just be a bias that we've got older and things like this annoy us more. But when Sky and ITV had Champions League coverage, it just seemed they seemed better at it. Like I know Martin Tyler was there in the new camp, or the ITV games. They just when you got Andy Townsend or Peter Drury, it just sounds better.
Because we'll talk about the game in a minute, but the Milan game, everyone was saying, and again, it's because everyone's got a platform to go and say and do what they want, but everyone's picked up on the BT coverage that I think in the studio, which is in Stratford, London, you had like Crouch, Gerrard, and whoever like talking about the Milan derby when they could be in Milan, having Milan legends on either side and all sorts, and all these reporters that live and breathe Serie A football. And we've got Peter Crouch and Steven Gerrard talking about AC Milan and Inter Milan. So.
Like you mentioned there, BT do all the Serie A games.
Yeah,
they have pundits that do them games, who commentate on them games. Get them in there. Yeah. Rather than, like you said, the quote unquote superstars or whatever. But it's just one of them things that I saw it and I was just like, that's just typical Ferdinand, just twerking for the cameras.
And that's the thing, Ferdinand, like, he could have been easily my loser of the week, but yeah, exactly that, just twerking. But he knew the cameras were on. He knows whatever he does, if he does something sort of out of the box, then that will get latched onto. Yeah, it was just unnecessary. It was very odd.
And fair play to Rio though for being the biggest bellend in the room that contains Jake Humphrey as well. That's quite hard work.
No comment.
I don't want to be put on the high performance podcast.
No, we might get stunned out here, but
no, moving back to De Bruyne. 7 of Kevin De Bruyne's 14 Champions League goals have come from outside the box. Since he joined Man City in 2015, it's the highest percentage of anyone that has scored from that distance in the competition. We all know he's got a fantastic strike on him, and that's one of the best ones we've seen from him.
It was brilliant. One of those, once you saw the replay and you were basically behind him and saw the flight of the ball, ridiculous. What a strike.
And it's interesting, because I did see a bit of criticism is probably the right word, on De Bruyne prior to the game, because you think of all the accolades he's done in his career, these big European nights away. I know City have historically not done it. He hasn't done it.
No.
He's done everything else. Like, you can't criticise, but that is the only thing you could say, no, he never did it in the big moments, in the big European games, when it really mattered. I think last year in the semis he got subs in Madrid.
Yeah, he scored. he was the first player to score away at Madrid in 2 separate knockout games. But obviously that game
they both lost them, though,
yeah,
didn't
they still lost. So,
they?
but yeah, like you said, and maybe this year, like everyone keeps saying, then this year might be Man City's year. But on Vinicius and on his goal, and before we move on to the rest of the game, whatever. But yeah, Vinicius involved in 22 goals in his last 22 Champions League appearances. Received man of the match in the game. What was it last year? He's already won La Liga twice, Champions League once, Champions League Young Player of the Season last season. He was in the Champions League Team of the Year, and he's just incredible. Isn't he? He's 22 years old. He's absolutely frightening, and we get to Walker and things. But yeah, he's just a ridiculous player.
I remember I saw him when I went to the El Clasico. Was it 2020? Just literally the week before lockdown. Went with Alberto, and after the game we're having. What do we have? Ham and red wine, as you do at like midnight on a Sunday when everyone's got work in the morning, but no one cares. And his dad was saying, and his dad's friends were all collectively, they were like, "No, I don't like Vinicius." I think he must have been. What was this? How old did you say? He's 22.
He's 22 now. Yeah, turning 23 in the summer.
So he would have been 19 at the time. He'd been at Real Madrid maybe a year, 2 years, and they were like, "I don't see it." Don't see it. And Albert was the one who was saying, no, give him some time. Like he's literally 19. He scored the winner in the Clasico, and you're still. But they were frustrated with him because there was no end product, and now he's getting to that stage. Like you said, what you said, 21 goal involvements in 22 games.
22 goal involvements, 22 games, Champions League games. That is.
Yeah, that's end product, and that's what we're talking about, and that's what you need to play for Real Madrid, and that's what he was probably missing. He had everything else. And they are really frustrating when players like that. I've seen loads at Arsenal, but they very obviously kick on because they play for Arsenal, not Real Madrid. And to see it is always nice to see that player with that upwards trajectory of just you can see he is going to the moon, and maybe he's already there. And
yeah, but you mentioned it. I know it's not easy to mention him, but like we're mentioning Vinicius, everyone knows who he is now, and he's a brilliant player. He's been excellent for probably 2 seasons, but. You spoke about him in the World Cup, didn't you, in that period, and said like this could be his World Cup. It didn't quite happen for Brazil or him, but yeah, you saw the other night, wasn't he? Just so confident. He tried the rainbow flick on Walker, and he was trying everything. He wasn't scared.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
But he tried the rainbow flick, and it almost come off like he's that good at jumping. If I try the rainbow flick, I'll just fall over and eat the grass. But yeah, he's ridiculous. You saw the confidence in him, and
then you've got
Walker.
Rodrigo on the other side, who's just a joke. He doesn't even start for Brazil. Like that shows how. Strong they are, but he's another player who, how do I say it, complements him very well. Because you saw when Man City were dominating the ball, they went into a 4-4-2. Valverde went to the right, Rodriguez moved over to the left because Vinicius doesn't track, and they had him on the counter attack with Benzema, and that worked really well. And then they move again, and they're very fluid because they don't get flustered, Real Madrid, and that's such a key cog to the machine they are. Because how many times do you think, if you're Spurs or Arsenal, for example, with the only 2 options I can think of at the moment, you play Man City, can we get out 10 minutes live? Like you just know Real Madrid are going to, at home, especially maybe at the Etihad they might get blown away, but at home they just doesn't happen. And the longer the game goes 0-0, the stronger they get as well. And that's when if Man City had scored in the first 10 minutes, you probably would be concerned for Real Madrid. And I actually think going into the second leg, City need that fast up. They need to score in that first 10 minutes to have the Etihad have the rocking.
Like 1-0 is obviously a brilliant result, and they, like you said, go back to their Etihad next week, and they'll be confident. But yeah, Real Madrid, and they'll be more than happy with that result. And like you said, they're experienced side now, aren't they? They're ridiculously experienced. They're older players. Modric, Benzema, even Courtois a bit older now. They got some Alabas. They got some
Cruz.
Older. Yeah, Cruz if he plays, when he plays. They got a much older group this time, and they're older, but they're probably at the peak of their powers. Like Modric just seems to get better and better. Benzema's ridiculous. So yeah, they've got a perfect mix, and they'll have no worries about Man City next week.
And interesting, you've got a stat here. Real Madrid have progressed from only 2 of their last 9 semi-finals. No, sorry, 2 of their last knockouts ties when failing to win the first leg at home. Both of them were against Manchester United.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I do think City will nick it just. I mean, I had Real Madrid to start with, but not that I'm changing my mind. But after the game, I just think City at home, it has to be their year. It has to be. If it's going to be now or never, not. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll go through. I do think it'll be another brilliant game like it was the other night. But I think City will go through. But again, Real Madrid have no concerns. Their record against English sides recently has been brilliant. They beat Chelsea and Liverpool twice this year. Last year beat Chelsea over 2 legs, City over 2 legs, and then Liverpool in the final. So yeah, their record, they've won the competition 14 times, and everyone's still, and they're in the semi-final now, and they're still, no one's really going, actually they could actually do a job next week, and it could easily happen. But yeah, and Madrid's focus is all on the Champions League now. They're heading into that second leg knowing that the league's done. I think they're third. They're going to finish third, maybe second if they get some points, and team above them drop them. But yeah, all their focus, all their mindset and their preparation is for that second leg. And Man City, on the other hand, are focusing on the weekend, which is the right thing to do. But that is another huge game for them at Everton.
It's an interesting point you bring up there, because weirdly, Pep Guardiola didn't make any subs.
That's what I've got down as well, yeah.
And it's not the first time he hasn't done that this season. And you look at the bench: Mahrez, Foden, Alvarez, Laporte. I can't remember who else was on there. Aki wasn't in the squad, but
did you say Foden was in there? Mahrez, yeah. But even that's what I was saying here though. But Pep Guardiola, he went into the game against Real Madrid, didn't do anything ridiculous. He wasn't playing Bernardo Silva left back. He wasn't playing Rodri out of the middle. Like, he went with his side and played his best team. But that's the only other side is that he didn't make any changes in the game, which is with all their fixtures and the pressure of it all. And you saw at the end of the game, not that they're obviously extreme athletes to the highest level, but obviously they were knackered. Like, they just played Real Madrid, drew 1-0. It was an incredible game. They were on their feet. Like, Walker just concentrated, probably the most he's ever concentrated for 90-95 minutes against one of the best players in the world. Yeah, you saw like Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne was panting. Like, they gave it everything, but it's very strange that Guardiola didn't make any changes.
It's the same starting lineup that battered Arsenal 4-1. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned there, where they look knackered as well, they were in a stadium. It's getting rebuilt with a roof that is on, but there's no air because it hasn't been finished. And I know it might not seem much to many people. I imagine Real Madrid players are used to playing in that heat. When was the last time it's 25 degrees in this country? Let alone play football in 25 degrees. Yeah.
And also playing, they're highest of the highest, but playing against an incredible side. Like, it's not just us going on Monday night and knocking the ball about the Astro. Like, yeah.
You got anything else to add on the game?
Not really. Just that. I mean, Alberto's probably listening, but I did think Madrid were just constantly moaning about everything from minute 1 to the end. They were just moaning.
Goal should have been disallowed though. But went out of play.
Did it? Yeah, but how do you know that? Because Angelotti said
that video. No, surely VAR should even check. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that decision. Yes, but I just mean in general, the fans were moaning. Then like the players were throwing their hands out. Angelotti was moaning. It's just constant moaning and moaning.
Yeah, but you know that's Madrid. You saw Alberto when he came over. He was moaning. I think he was moaning that Sam Benzema was having a good season.
Yeah, no, that was the only gripe I had with Madrid.
But moving on to the San Siro and the Milan derby. AC Milan 7-time winners versus Inter Milan 3-time winners. I didn't really have an opinion going into this game, thinking I had no idea who was going to win. I don't follow Italian football. I would be lying if I said I had a favourite to win this.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised that Inter went into a 2-goal lead after 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And that sort of... Is the tie dead? It's a strange one because although Inter were quote-unquote away, they're going into the home leg. Obviously, they'll have the home atmosphere.
Yeah.
But the ground's still the same. The players...
Yeah, it's very different. I think that's like exactly the point you're saying. I think you can't... If it was, for example, tonight, if West Ham lose 2-0, they go to AZ Alkmaar. It's a bit different. But yeah, like exactly what you just said. Obviously, everyone knows it's at the San Siro. Inter Milan had 7,000 fans there the other night, and I'm sure AC will have a very similar amount when they go for the return leg. But yeah, it was just like you said, it was just a blistering start, wasn't it, from Inter Milan? It was just ridiculous, like, and go into it. But AC, like the midfield defence, they just seemed to open up the whole game. It wasn't like they went 2-0 down and so right, we're going to shut up shop and just stop this. What the hell are we doing? They got even worse as the game got. It was very weird, very very weird performance.
And if I'd done my homework prior to the game, I think the result probably wouldn't have surprised me as much because Inter have beaten AC 3 times this season, all competitions. Once in the cup, and once in Serie A, and now once in the Champions League. And I think once they went in the cup, I think it was like 4-1 or something like that.
Yeah, and that was the first time since 94, 95 they've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think they're above them in the league into by like 3 points.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
they probably are the favourites on paper, but yeah, just because the two squads, they're not. Yes, they're like you said. Milan have won it 7 times. Inter have won it 3 times.
2007 the last time, and Milan AC last time 2007, and
Yeah.
Inter 2010. So a long time ago. Isn't it?
And you look at their teams and their squads now, and even from the other night, they're nothing like the Kakas and Seedorf and all these sort of players. Even Adriano when he was at Inter Milan, and God knows the list that could go on. But yeah, do you know what I mean? AC Milan got Giroud up front and Brahim Diaz and Tomori, who could be Titus Bramble in another life.
I was so glad you brought that up. Not the Tomori bit, the whole players thing. Edin Dzeko, what's he? 37, and Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Yeah.
Let me try to repeat that again. Henrik Mkhitaryan, who was finished when he left Man United. He was finished when he left Arsenal, and then he went to. Them two have scored in a Champions League semi-final in what's the year? 2023. Like,
we thought Walker up front was weird.
Like,
yeah, Dzeko and Mkhitaryan scored.
These two players are washed. Henrik Mkhitaryan more. I remember I watched Mkhitaryan last year when I went to Roma versus AC. It was actually.
Yeah, he was under Mourinho.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
He got hooked at half time. I think he was because he was just dreadful. And now he's playing in Champions League, scoring. Oh, just. Yeah, this is something I want to ask you this question. Spurs won their Champions League group this season, and were on this side of the draw, the nice side of the draw.
I'm going to go in. Go on. I wanted to say about that.
They lost. Was it over 2 legs, 1-0 to
1-0 to Milan,
AC in a pretty lackluster two games.
2 shocking sides.
Inter, Porto, Benfica, AC Milan. Like that is
Napoli. They'll be fuming. They'll be distraught. They'll be gutted because what are they doing? How are they not comfortably in the final already? Going
on, but just back to them players quickly. I think we all agree this. Whoever wins that first game, Real Madrid, City are gonna be licking their lips. Yeah. It could be. It probably won't be, but it could be the highest scoring Champions League final.
Could be one of the highest scoring finals in history. Like if you look at all competitions,
like Inter,
ridiculous.
They've got Lukaku, Lukaku, Lukaku.
Yeah, and he looked all right, didn't he? He was loads of energy, just running about. But yeah, everyone knows what he's truly like. But yeah, I
also forgot another player. Sorry,
go on.
Matteo Darmian as well.
Yeah, Darmian.
What?
Like a school teacher running down the wing and. Yeah, but on Milan, they struggled to score goals. 11 games and scored 15. They had Zagreb and Salzburg in their group, which they scored 3 and 4 against in 3 of those games. So 2 shocking sides. They beat 3-1, 4-0, something like that. Chelsea, who have been awful this year, beat them twice, and Milan didn't score. Since the group, they've scored 3 in 5 games. Yes, they're in a semi-final. You don't necessarily need to score goals and all the rest of it, but as a prime example, against Inter Milan, they just had no threat going forward. And obviously, they missed Leao, but how much would he have changed, really?
They're only, like I said, they've got Olivier Giroud up front. And they've got Leao, and that's about it, really. Like, AC, they won the league last year, but I think they're 5th this year? Something like that. They're not in the top 4. They're struggling. And go back to, like I said, to the Spurs and the Chelsea were on that side. Dortmund, Napoli, obviously, are the big ones. But they all must be kicking yourselves and think, what an opportunity again to get.
Yeah, with Spurs, I'm not saying in the games we're good enough, but we've got to score 1 goal against Milan. 1. We've got Harry Kane on the pitch. We've got Son on the pitch. We have to score 1 goal against these lot. Yeah, and we wouldn't have beat Napoli or the rest of it, but Milan should not be in the semi-final.
Yeah, neither of them, I don't think. But it'll be interesting. Do you think the 2-goal lead is insurmountable?
What it's done, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got it. Only once has a team been 2 or more goals up after the first leg failed to qualify for the final. And that was Barca in 18-19 when they were 3-0 up against Liverpool, and obviously lost 4-0 second leg. So a 2 goals or more, a lead in a first leg is very, very difficult to overturn. And yeah, I can't see it. Can't see it happening.
Did you want to go any further on your mate Tomori?
It's just a little bit. Because Tomori and the bloke next to him, Asia,
The Danish bloke, innit?
yeah, the Danish captain, were awful. They were a disgrace. And the two in front of them, the midfielders, didn't help at all. But Tomori, like, we get shouts all the time, like, oh, Tomori should be in the England squad. How's Maguire dying? Like, and everyone will say, oh, you only watched whenever it was last night's game, and that's your opinion. But what you just told me is that's also how you base your argument, because you've only watched him once or twice against Spurs or Chelsea and thought, oh, what a player. He's unbelievable. So I'm going to use the same process and same argument against you and show him footage of the other night and him dancing around the floor. Oh, he's just awful. And Gareth Southgate, the main man, the man in charge of England, who has probably watched him more times than anyone. He gets people to go and watch him. He's seen him in training and all sorts. He doesn't pick him. So I'm sure Gareth Southgate knows more than all of us combined. So, yeah, Tomori, it's brilliant. It's a fantastic career, and you're like going out to Milan that's an unbelievable thing to do. But yeah, everyone needs to chill out with the old Tomori hype.
Yeah, he was the first Englishman to appear in a Champions League semi-final for a non-English club since McManaman in 2003 for Real Madrid. Just flicked a memory in my head, going back to that Ferdinand celebration. You had an ex-Real Madrid player in that room who didn't even flinch, and Michael Owen, and played for Man United and Liverpool. He was like, not rivals with City, but you know what I mean. Didn't even flinch, and then you've got Ferdinand. That's what he does.
He's awful.
Shut up.
He's an awful man. Yeah, not good.
Right. Should we move on to Europa League?
Yeah, let's do it.
So it's about to kick off any moment now.
Yeah, I'll keep the scores up.
Roma, Leverkusen, and Juventus, Sevilla. You went Juve, didn't you? In your,
I think so. Yeah, I'll get it up here. I'll have a look.
In your prediction,
I'm pretty sure I went Juve.
And I went Roma, I believe. Jose Mourinho's Roma.
Jose Mourinho.
So you've got Juventus. So you've got Roma, Leverkusen, and Juventus versus Sevilla. Roma are 7th in their league, playing Leverkusen, who are 6th. With Juventus second, who recently got their 30 points back. Was it 30 or 15?
15, they're back to third now, aren't they?
They're second now.
Oh,
yeah, they're second, yeah.
Back up second, yeah. Mourinho predicted it, didn't he? Yeah, you went Roma for Europa League, I've gone Juventus.
And then Sevilla, who are 11th. They've picked up a few points recently. I think both ties will be pretty tight. I'm going to stick with my Roma shout, just because I think
the Jose effect.
I think this is going to be Mourinho's last dance at Roma. If he could win this somehow, then I think it will leave in the summer, and then he's got one big job. And I don't know. I've got a feeling go PSG.
Who's he? I think. I listened to it today. Who they talking about? Can't remember. He was linked with someone today, or they said they mentioned a club, and it was like a bit of a rogue one, but quite big. I'm not sure.
Because he's done actually really well at Roma. He has sort of built his reputation up a bit, and he's gone back to the sort of the dark arts, but the funny side of him, because he went a bit.
He was miserable. Wasn't
he went a bit miserable, didn't he? It was just. He's a time at Man United, was just shaved all his hair off and was just sulking in the Lowry. Was it the Lowry? The hotel United players
Yeah,
there?
he was. He
just lived there, didn't
but
he?
That's what he, like you said, he was like that. It seemed like forever, but yeah, he just changed, didn't he? He changed his attitude and his.
Have you seen what he's been doing recently? He's been miking himself up on the sidelines to protect himself, because he said about these. That's what Klopp should do. Klopp should do that if he's worried about Tierney. Next time, mic himself up.
I'd love to know what Tierney said to him, if he said anything at all.
No, it should be some interesting games. We haven't got too much on that. As I said, I wouldn't say I follow many of these. I won't probably watch the games.
Yeah, exactly,
we'll be watching the Conference League, which we're watching now.
Yeah.
Forget what words out.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. But I might watch the final or the final beyond or something. But like you said, with no English involvement or no real links to it and all the rest of it, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, we got the old the Amazon, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll move over to the Conference League. West Ham, Alkmaar, Fiorentina, Basel. You went Alkmaar, didn't you?
Yes.
To lift the trophy, and I went Fiorentina, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, you've gone for Fiorentina.
I mean, I won't lie. I think there is obviously a bit of bias in that for both of us, especially the person sitting next to me. I think if West Ham don't win tonight, they'll struggle to get through. I think they have to win tonight. Home advantage.
I think they've got to win. I think I don't know what the score. I have no idea. But if they're 2 or 3 goals ahead, then AZ are in trouble, and I'm in trouble.
You know who their captain is there, number 8 on the ball. Jordi Classy, yeah, from. Do you remember Southampton?
They got Matt Ryan in goal, and that's about it. I don't know anybody else they've got.
I think got a striker who scored a few goals
But yeah, West Ham will be full of confidence when they're going into this game. As about 3 minutes gone, but yeah, no fear at home.
And especially knowing they're safe.
Exactly, I was about to say they're safe in the league after a huge win against Man United. That was after 3 losses in a row for West Ham. And yeah, they got no concerns, have they? David Moyes on the screen now, the man that they all wanted dead 4 weeks ago, and now they absolutely love him. So there we go.
I'm going to ask you this. Try and answer this with a level head.
Go on.
If West Ham win this, surely Moyes has to get a new contract.
Oh no, yeah, he will. I think he will. If they win it, he will stay.
Yeah, statue.
Even if they get to the final, and there's no reason to get rid of him.
Moyes over Brooking, surely.
Yeah.
Tear down the Brooking stand and put the David Moyes stand up.
Moyes over Bobby Moore, right?
Rice over Moore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. But AZ, they beat Lazio over 2 legs the last round. They drew this weekend at Ajax. They're 4th in the league, which only would mean Europa Conference League qualification, but that's the standard of their league and their football. But yeah, it doesn't appear to mean that they're missing any major players tonight, which seems to always be the case when English sides play a decent team. They ends up being their number 1 strikers out with a bloody broken leg. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'll be concerned if West Ham win by 2 or 3. But hopefully AZ are well up for it. And my old Dutch boys do a job.
I believe you're probably in the same camp as me in this one. Whereas you see a lot of people going, I hope the English teams do well. It doesn't matter. Apart from Arsenal, I want every other English club to get battered.
I used to be that way when I was younger, when I supported Tottenham, but at the time I didn't really.
When you supported Tottenham? Oh yeah, because you're a United fan now, aren't you?
I was a United fan.
No, you're a United fan now.
Oh, yeah, I was and I am now. No, but when I was younger, growing up, supporting Tottenham, but it was more that obviously I didn't really know what was going on. Liverpool used to always be in the latter stages, and yeah, like United used to win it every now and then. I used to get excited because obviously Tottenham nowhere near it, but yeah, now I'm a bit older, no chance, absolutely no chance.
You're not going back to Spurs, are you? That girl was really going to think you were a red.
I know I'm going back for a home game, so yeah, when I see her again, she'll in my Man United away kit. 23.
I hope you get Man United first game of the season when you come back.
Or the next time I see her, I'll just be Man United at home. That'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Or you can come in the first game if you're Man United Kane shirt on.
Yeah, it's true. If Kane goes, then I'll just follow Kane.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say now about West Ham. To be fair, no, you've got to give them some credit though. Back-to-back seasons in European semi-finals. No matter the standard, like this competition isn't great, but you can only win if it's in front of you.
Oh, was it
Benrahma here on the edge?
Benrahma.
And the fans are obviously going to be excited for a second European. Oh, Rice.
Flat caps all over the place. How's your train journey?
Oh, the train journey was pretty horrid, to be fair. There were a few echoes of Ians.
Oh, it's awful.
Get chance, goal kick. But no, I don't know. It's just one of them competitions that, put it this way, if an English team wasn't in it, this wouldn't be on the TV right now.
I would not be watching Conference League Alkmaar versus whoever. Yeah. Not at all.
Right, I think that's a nice time to take a break. Just over half an hour gone. We'll be back with a little bit on the Championship playoffs, a little bit of the final day, and then we'll move on to the preview of game week 35, I think it is, over the weekend. So, see you in a bit. Well, what a dramatic day Monday was. Bank Holiday Monday, last day of the Championship. You had Burnley already crowned as champions, reached 101 points. Sheffield United already going up in second place on 91 points. Luton and Middlesbrough were confirmed in the playoffs, so that was third and fourth. And then you had fifth and sixth to fight for, and it was between fifth to ninth could have gone up. Coventry, Sunderland, Blackburn, Millwall and West Brom. Millwall was sitting in sixth. They were the ones at home to Blackburn. All they needed to do was win, regardless of any other result, and they were through.
Yep.
They started off like a house on fire, 1-0 up, 2-0 up, but got disallowed. And it was 1-1. They went 3-1 up, and I thought that's got to be them. It was between Millwall and Sunderland for me that wanted to was going to go up, because Sunderland were like rank outsiders because they needed so much to happen. They needed Millwall to lose, West Brom to draw, and then a goal swing of like 6 goals or something like that.
And it went because I was away, so weren't really following it. I just obviously see all the messages flying through, but. I saw some of the scores, like you said. What was the Mill score? They lost
4-3.
They won 4-3 or lost?
They lost 4-3. They were 3-1 up.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, the fact Sunderland got in there, and it was all happening. But yeah, it was pretty. I mean, I'm sure it was a chaotic day to watch, and exciting to see. But yeah, it was all happening, wasn't it?
Prime Championship, and you think look at the table here. Coventry will finish 5th. And you had Millwall hit 8th on 68. So it was 2 points separating 5th and 8th. And the goal difference is mad. You've got Coventry 5th on 70 points with 12 goal difference. Sunderland 69 13 on 13 goal difference. Sunderland finished outside on goal difference because they got Blackburn, -2. I think 46 games and you finish on goal difference. It's awful, isn't it? But Sunderland, they got promoted last year, and then the playoffs what a season they've had. They lost their manager in the early part of the season. Alex Neil went to Stoke. That's gone well.
They got Mowbray, eh?
Yeah,
Tony Mowbray.
Yeah, I was a bit gutted for Millwall because I do like new clubs coming to the Premier League, and I just think they would be. I know whatever your opinion is on the fans and the club, and we all know historically they're not the nicest. Let's put it mildly. But can you imagine first game of the season, August 16th, whatever it is, at the Den, Millwall versus Pep City?
Yeah. But also Millwall will be one of the worst teams to ever play in the Premier. They would be.
You think?
Yeah, they'd be awful. Who was it? I think Derby's points. I think Millwall would smash that. They finished on about 7 points.
I just think it would be fun. I like the job Michael Carrick's done, but the last team out of them 4 to go up I want is Middlesbrough. Because how many times have you seen Middlesbrough in the league? No,
definitely. But it's even like the top 2 that got promoted, like Sheffield United, Burnley.
Boring.
Awful sides, but yeah. Who do you reckon?
Yeah, so we had a question, didn't we?
Yeah, go on.
We had a question from our listener Matt. Let me get Matt Devereaux. Did I pronounce that right?
Devereaux.
And he's asked us, Championship playoffs. Who's your winner? Those who know me. No, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Sunderland.
The Mackhams.
I met them 10 years ago now in the Algarve.
Yeah, it was.
It was on the Albufeira Strip. It was for those who have been. I can't remember the exact place, but it's on like the little T-junction bit right at the end where you got the hill down to the beach. You turn left to some nightclubs I've seen Ben Graham go in for very, very often, and come out a little bit worse for wear in the early hours of the morning. We could turn right. I've never gone right. I don't know what's down there actually. And left is where the Bucking Bronco is, and they're in there.
Wow.
The story is, it was on a family holiday actually. It's me, my family, my cousins were all out, and Pat was like, "Why is there so many Sunderland fans out?" And we were like, "There was hundreds of them. Hundreds of them all when they came." I was like, "No idea." And then we went to the bar and I got a drink and my brother comes sprinting out and was like, "I've just seen Stephen Fletcher." I was like, "What?" And I sprinted in there and there are Sunderland players left, right and centre. It was like, and that was why I used to play Sunderland all the time on FIFA. It was my team and I just loved them.
But that was prime. They were good, a good team then as well in terms of Sunderland.
Gus Poyet's Sunderland it was. Pantilimon in goal. Van Aanholt left. You had the centre halves who were the rudest people. Rudest celebrities I've met with John O'Shea and Wes Brown.
Really?
I was fanboying. I was like,
Barnsley right back.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I've had pictures. I've met a few famous people like players and whatnot, and I was like, please, can I have a picture of two Champions League winners?
Please.
And they were like, "Nah, go away. No pictures." So I ended up just taking a picture of them.
Who did you get a photo?
And then I went round to the bar and we actually started chatting with. It was Jordi Gomez, Lee Cattermole, and Adam Johnson.
Free AJ.
Adam Johnson, they were the three. We got a picture with them. We're chatting along with them. And my favourite player was Stephen Fletcher, but I'll get onto that story as well. And we're just chatting. I remember we were chatting away, and then I remember my last thing I said to Lee Fletcher was, "Lee, I know you're a bit of a tough
Lee
tackler
Campbell,
and that."
Lee
Yeah.
Campbell.
That's
No,
Lee.
No, you said Lee Fletcher.
Oh, Lee Fletcher.
Lee Campbell.
I work with someone called Lee Fletcher. Lee Cattermole. And yeah, I said, "I know you're a tough tackler, Lee, but please, can you be careful with Mezit?" Called him first name Mezit as well.
First name basis.
And he looked at me like, "Who the fuck are you dork?"
I've seen the photos. A very different take to what I'm looking at.
A ponytail and everything.
Yeah.
So I strutted outside, and then I can see this big, tall, giant Pantilimon. And I've spotted Fletcher, and that was the one I wanted because I fanboyed Fletcher because he was. My FIFA team was always Fletcher. I had a thing
built around him.
I mean, no, it was every time I played with him, I scored with him all the time. And that was the first thing I told him when I saw him. I was like, "Mate, you are unreal on FIFA."
Oh, God, like 76 non-reg.
And got a picture of him. I made sure I was the only one because Pat was trying to get it as well. So I said, "No, please, can I just have one picture of him on my own?"
Please. Begging him. How old were you?
19, 20?
Please.
No, but I love Fletch. He was
Unreal.
Oh, he was just. I always tried to get him. I was like, "Come on, you should play for a better club than Sunderland."
Because he scored 30 goals in your career.
No, but he was decent that first year. They signed him from Wolves.
Proper techie, left-footed striker.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he was right-footed, you just think nothing of him.
Yeah.
He's got that left foot.
Because they're the best players.
And he scored some decent goals.
Yeah.
Double sleeve tat as well. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really like. And he was actually well up to us from Scotland as well.
Quality.
Oh, but
So you want Sunderland to come up?
what a night! Yeah, it was good fun actually.
Were
No,
the managers there, the staff, or was it all players?
No, it was all players. It was all just all
Was
the players.
Poyet in that special club with Ben Graham? Could have been.
Well, could have been, but I'm pretty sure man, I got relegated that year and he got sacked or something like that.
Yeah.
Connor Wickham was there.
Oh, what a player!
What other players did they meet there? I can't remember now. I just couldn't. The whole team was there, and I was just.
Sessing on there. The little.
Oh, he might have been.
Marley or
Barini was there.
Guinean?
Barini was there.
Barini. Did you do the old?
Oh, yeah, silly. If you could see his face. I just remember being so shocked with the attitude because everyone else was out in the free for all, but the only two in VIP were the two Champions League winners, O'Shea and Brown, the veterans.
Yeah, probably said they want to be there. They were in Albufeira, which is absolute dump.
But no, sorry, Matt. My team I want to go up is Sunderland.
Yeah, at the end of that, Sunderland. No, I want them to go up, but I think Luton might come up. Might be their time. They were in the playoffs last season. Yes, they finished third this season, 80 points, and it's normally like Sunderland. They just sneaked in and they got the momentum and they're on a bit of form. But yeah, they've only conceded 39 goals. Only Burnley have conceded less. Rob Edwards was in charge. Got put in charge after what's his name? Nathan Jones moved on to Southampton and got sacked. And yeah, Rob Edwards got in charge. He got Forest Green promoted. He was only in charge of Watford for 11 games. It was a total mess, and he got out of there. But he came in during the World Cup. Luton were 10th, and they finished the season third. So, like I said earlier, a different team. Obviously, three of those sides haven't been up for a long, long time. And yeah, Luton, I think they might do it. But
No,
again,
I love Luton.
Very, very limited and sort of limited knowledge on the Championship.
I mean, it might be a bit of an old wives' tale, but you do often hear, "Oh, you finished the third's unlucky, isn't it, to get promoted?" Whereas sixth, like you said, is the momentum. I remember Blackpool, for example, finished sixth. That was the only day I think they were in the playoffs the whole time. Finished sixth, and they went and won it because you just that buzz is just
they just sneak in. Like I said, they're on a bit of form. Probably they've got that last game of the season probably was a big result and a big game. So. Yeah, but Luton have been in and around it the whole year.
And how it works, it's third versus sixth and fourth versus fifth. So it's Sunderland versus Luton on Saturday and Coventry versus Middlesbrough on Sunday. Two-legged ties, aren't they, I believe? Play home and away.
Yep.
And the winner plays on the 27th, I think. It's the Saturday, I believe, before the Champions League final, I believe. Could be completely wrong. Which it normally is. It's normally around the Champions League final day. Shall we move up the league?
Yes.
Where Burnley and Sheffield United are going?
Yep.
Who could be joining them in the Championship, should we say?
Yeah, I mean, on this section, I'm probably more geared towards the relegation battle, because really the title, to be fair, is still ongoing. But I think top four, Liverpool are on a bit of form and they could sneak in there. But I think the more exciting part is the relegation stuff, really.
So should we start at Ellen Road, the early kickoff?
Yeah, early Saturday, isn't it?
Leeds versus Newcastle. It's Big Sam's first game at Ellen Road against his former club Newcastle. If they lose that, they are on a slippery slope. Well, they are.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the table. They're 19th now, 30 points, no win in the last 5, 2 points from safety. All played the same games now.
Yeah, Leeds have only got 1 point in the last 6, and we're quickly. So don't need to go into massive detail, but yeah, Leeds got Newcastle, Everton have got City, Leicester are playing Liverpool on Monday night, and then Chelsea have got Forest are travelling to Chelsea at 3 p.m. So I'd say those 4 teams, and I think it's pretty nailed on. 2 of those 4 will be relegated. I think we're both agreeing that Southampton are gone. Yeah,
on that, if Southampton don't win, they're down.
Yeah, and I think they knew it, but they messed it up when they didn't beat Bournemouth at home. Was it 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
and yeah, they've not been terrible. Obviously, they've not been good, but like the Forest game, they still battled and still tried, but they're just not. They haven't got the players for it.
No, like I said, they got Theo Walcott still up front. Yeah. Sorry, the Southampton fans that listen, but
they're gone. I think
he's painful to watch, and they've won 6 games all season.
Yeah,
but like I said, the interesting ones to focus on. I think Forest are nearly there. Nearly, I think maybe 2 more points does it. A win definitely. I would say they're safe.
Yeah, what were they on? 30?
33 Forest.
Yeah, I think 30. I think you could start with 35 because Everton are on 32, and if they get 3 points, because Leicester are on 30, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think I like we said like before, but yeah, Leicester 1 win in 13 games. It's just awful. Everton last 2 got 4 points, scoring 5.
How big was that result? That Brighton result.
But that's the difference. Leeds, like I said, Leeds 1 point in 6. Leicester 1 win in 13, but Everton and Forest. Everton 4 points in the last 2. Like I said, scored 5 at Brighton. Forest 2 wins in 3. So those 2 sides are picking up points and results that are crucial at this stage. And yeah, like I said, I can't see Leicester winning 2 out of 3 at all.
And if you think that if that game had gone by on form on paper, Everton would have been second from bottom on 29 points, and that would have been
awful.
I think there's some like you can't always believe these Opta stats, whatever it is, but it's something like their probability went from 25% to 71% of staying up, like for 1 win, and obviously the results around them happening. Leicester, Liverpool, can't seem to get anything out of that.
No, and like I mentioned, but Liverpool on a bit of form, and they've
got something to go for now, haven't they?
Yeah, they're somehow clinging on to top 4, and that's probably in the distance, but yeah, they're still Liverpool, aren't they? Still got some very, very good players and hitting a bit of form. So yeah, I can't see much else happening there.
Yeah, it's all if buts maybes, and that's what we love about football. But just putting a scenario out there: Leeds win at home, Big Sam gets his first win, and Liverpool win against Leicester. Liverpool go joint points with Newcastle. Like obviously, they think Newcastle have a game in hand, but that puts the pressure on Newcastle. 2 games to go,
and even United then suddenly got to pick up points. But yeah, Leicester got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, then West Ham. Leeds of Newcastle, West Ham away, and Tottenham at home. Forest of Chelsea away, Arsenal home, Palace away, Everton, City at home on the weekend, and then 2 massive games: Wolves away, Bournemouth as well. So yeah, it's definitely. I think Everton they'll write off this weekend, although obviously they'll try and get some points and win the game, but I don't think they're fussed if they lose.
Big game that. Yeah, in terms of I think the title's over anyway, but if City don't win that, it then gives Arsenal a glimmer. And by glimmer, I mean it could all be over by 4 o'clock if they don't beat Brighton at home anyway. But if they win that, then this is all, like I said, in all scenarios in this pie in the sky. If Man City don't win, Arsenal beat Brighton. All Arsenal need to know in their heads is if we beat Forest away, the title goes to the last game of the season. Like, that's all they need to know, and that's what else could you ask for? There's basically let's pray and let's see what happens. And if you gave that option, what's the word I'm looking
Scenario?
for? Scenario
Yeah.
to Arsenal fans after losing to Man City.
Yeah.
The title will still be alive on the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised to be honest because I didn't watch Arsenal, but heard that you were obviously very, very good, and I thought you'd lose it. I just thought Newcastle on the form. They're battling for top four. They're loving life, and yeah, you were obviously brilliant.
it was a game where fine margins dictate the game. Murphy hit the post after 1 minute. That could have been
different.
That could have been
changed the game.
hell on earth. Like that place was rocking, like it was when they scored in 1 minute against you lot as well. And that's how football works. Arsenal soon then got some composure, and when they played, when Arsenal played, they wiped Newcastle, the floor of Newcastle, because I actually think Newcastle got a little bit cocky and thought we can beat this Arsenal team, and they played Isaac and Wilson, which they haven't been doing recently. And that gave Arsenal space to ping the ball around and get through. As soon as they played such a high line as well, once the amount of times Martinelli and Saka got through, I know Isaac hit the post, but Martinelli hit the post. Saka missed a one-on-one. Martinelli missed a one-on-one. Could have been 3-1. It could have been 3-2. Could have been 3-all. But I think over the 90 minutes, Arsenal were the better team. They showed why they are. Let me work it out quickly. 16 points above them.
Yeah,
they've secured second place now. But if Man City win, that's 11 wins on the trot, 33 points out of 33. They've then got Brighton,
I think I had it
Chelsea.
City are 21. Hang on.
Although ironically, you think Man City's, once they get past Everton, on paper,
Man City now 21 unbeaten in all comps.
yeah, like I said again, their worst result in them 21 games is a 1-0 win away at Palace. They've had 3 draws in that now. It was all in the Champions League, I think. Bayern away, Leipzig away, and Real Madrid away. 3-1 all draws.
Not good enough, is it, Pep? Sort it out, mate.
But on paper, Man City have got Chelsea at home, Brighton away, and Brentford away. I don't know.
I think not. You should, but I think the Newcastle game was suddenly everyone's like, oh, actually, they've only got a few games left. They might as well they're not going to give up. But do you know what I mean? Everyone thought, oh, they're done. They'll draw, they'll lose, they'll do whatever. But I think, you've carried on exactly how you have been the whole year. So.
And all Arsenal can do is win the next 3 games. If they finish on 90 points, fair buddy. But Arsenal have only ever finished on 90 points once before, and that was they went unbeaten.
Yeah.
They've never had a season of this many points.
No.
City now already have more points in the season that Liverpool won the league. So in the last 6 years, City are just. It's a story. It's a pod for another day. But the level you need to be at to win the league is even. I know people say Arsenal. The 2 results against West Ham and Southampton. If you added them 4 points to Arsenal and Arsenal win all their games and City win all their games, City still win the league in goal difference.
It's funny though, Southampton took 4 points off you this year and then bottom.
Yeah, so
that is terrible. Isn't it?
Everton took 3 off of us. There was actually a stat. I'm glad you brought that up. There was an Arsenal fan I follow on Twitter, and he was like, "I'm so glad that Southampton are going to go down," because he put out the last 30 points at St Mary's Arsenal could have got. They've got 15.
Oh, God. Yeah, hopefully someone else Sunderland come up.
And you think over 10 years, that's 2 points a season on average dropped.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
But
we'll save it for another day. We won't go into that.
No, we won't go for it. So we actually had a couple more questions. Have we got any more Prem stuff you want to talk about?
Nah.
I've got some questions on some Prem teams here before we get on to winner and loser of the week. So we had I forgot to write down their name for both of them actually, but we've got Pochettino to Chelsea. Thoughts, especially you, Jack.
Oh, need to figure out who done this.
Is that? I'll put them in the. I'll shout them out later on if I find it on my phone quickly. Is that like an ex-girlfriend going to like an arch rival at school?
It's not good, is it? But then I've said it before, but like you can't just keep waiting for Spurs that aren't going to take him back. He needs to go get a job. Do
you think it's a good fit for him?
No. I think the size of the club and the money it have, great, but the way it's run and the way it works, no way. No, he's got to go in there. He's got a random assortment of players. Whoever goes in there's got a random assortment of players, but he's going in there, got all these, like I said, bought these players, who plays where, don't know what's going on, who's signing from. I can't see it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you think one appealing trait of his that obviously Bowley has looked at is that he's worked for Levy for all these years and was a bit submissive, might be the wrong word, but he didn't really take. He took everything. He wasn't confrontational.
Yeah.
He accepted when Levy gave him no money, even though he got to a Champions League final, and sort of he didn't really want to rock the boat. And that's sort of the manager they're sort of after. I think that just does what they say. Go sign Ronaldo. But okay, let's go something like that.
Because I thought you were going to go. Yeah, but no, you're probably right.
Whereas Tuchel, I think, rocked the boat, and Potter was just out of his depth.
Because Potter, like the players they bought, the manager Potter didn't want them. Whoever Tuchel, when he was there briefly, didn't want these players, and yet Lampard, bloody hell. Let's not talk about that donut. But
he's not your winner of the league. Not your winner of the week. Kept him up.
Pocher's going to go in there and say, I want this player, but then they get two random out. Like, it just isn't going to work. I just don't think it's going to work. And yeah, it's obviously it's a shame he's going to Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea fans are that enamoured by it, are they? What do you reckon, Poch to Chelsea?
I think he's a good manager. I think he'll work well there with the young players they've got. Is he going to the VAR? I saw someone went down. I saw Rice did through an elbow or something.
Yeah, Paqueta's in the ref's face.
Yeah, he just pulled the VAR out, has he? I know. I think it'll work well because there's a lot of young players there they've signed with potential. That he obviously needs to clear out the ones he doesn't want, and I think the people on high money who are in their late 30s, your Bamayangs, your Koulibalys, these lot. But even the ones like Cucurella have just been awful. We'll actually do. A lot of these players will probably come up in this, but we're planning on doing like a top 10 episode, maybe like a review episode on worst signing of the season, best signing of the season. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these Chelsea players will be coming up in this.
Yeah,
we'll mention more Chelsea. The next question I've got, but
they've spent over $500 million, and that's just been totally forgotten about. They've spent over $500 million, and you're talking now that they need to go through and get rid of all these players that would have just signed,
and probably have to spend that again in the summer. The short of it, I think yes, he'll do a good job there, given a few years and given some time to progress. And the second question we had was Rice, 100 million. Really, what's your thoughts on the Arsenal rumours? But again, sorry to jump in there. Look at what Chelsea has spent. You've spent 116 million, whatever it was, on Enzo Fernandez, who's played 16 games in the Portuguese league. So West Ham must look at that and think, right, we've got our captain who's played 4 seasons now, at least 4.
He's probably the first name on England's.
Just say 35 games, 35 times 5. Like that's well over 200 games, Premier League games a season he's played.
Yeah. Experienced
player, played for England. Like, why can't we ask for £100 million?
Oh yeah, they'll obviously want to get as much as they can, but yeah, I think 100 million is the max. I reckon. I know to West Ham he's worth way more than that. I totally get that, but yeah, I just don't think he's going to go for more than 100 mil.
Can you see him wearing the red of Arsenal, the blue of Chelsea? Man United?
I think Arsenal. I think if Chelsea were top 4 and as they were like normal, we'd have gone there. But I think Arsenal's looking likely. And like we said recently about recruitment and stuff and changing your players around. But Arsenal's supposedly, according to the papers and whatever, they seem to be having a go at it, don't they? And there's talk of Smith Rowe getting moved on. There's talk of Xhaka getting moved on. And you think, bloody hell, no, he's like Xhaka's played all year. He's been brilliant, but. That's how the ruthlessness you have to have. You have to go and make these big decisions at a time when you're at the top.
If you want to go from 90 points to 96.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you get rid of Xhaka and bring in Rice, then of course you are. That's an easy decision. So, yeah, and if Arsenal are going to do that this summer, then they won't move from where they are. But, yeah, I think Rice, like I said, to West Ham, and rightly so, he's worth 150, 180, 200 million. But, yeah, I think 100 mil for Rice will get him.
Perfect. We've got one more question, but I'm going to leave that because it ties in with my loser of the week. So that was from my friend James.
Yep.
James Griff, recent father as well.
Yep. Very glad you pointed out Griff and Leah.
Yes. Congratulations on your baby girl.
Yep.
Should we move on to winner of the week?
Yeah, let's
winner
do
and
it.
loser.
Let's do it.
Do you want to start with your winner?
Yeah, I'll go with my winner. My winner of the week is Jay Stansfield, who played for Exeter this season. He was on loan from Fulham. His dad Adam is an Exeter City legend, but passed away in 2010. And this year, when Jay went on loan there, he wore his dad's number. And is in his final appearance for Exeter, he scored a hat trick. So yeah, Jay Stansfield, winner of the week, went on loan to Exeter this year. I think they're mid-table, scored a few goals, but yeah, nice way to end his loan. Obviously, wearing his dad's number.
I think that number was retired for a little while, wasn't it?
It was.
As well,
It was retired, and obviously, like I said, he was Adam Stansfield, his dad, was a legend, but obviously sadly passed away in 2010. So Jay went back there on loan and wore his number and scored a hat trick on his final appearance.
My winner is the second time he's been my winner. He was the winner after his first game in charge, and he's my winner after his 15th game in charge, and that is Neil Warnock.
Yes.
One of my dream guests to have on the show. Would be unbelievable. Huddersfield said farewell to Neil Warnock with a win that typified the spirit that he's brought since taking over in February. He's won 7 games. He's 7th on Monday out of 7 of his 15 games of Warnock's been in charge. A run that has hauled them out the relegation zone, beating Sheffield United, Watford, Borough and Millwall, finishing 18th.
Yeah, now they were comfortably.
Yeah,
like you said, a good few points, and they got some big results.
Drawing against Blackburn, I think they lost to Burnley, but they had a hard run in. I think they played out the 15 games. I'm pretty sure something like 10 of them were in the top half. So what a bloke!
Yeah, just the GOAT.
Just you're gonna die to get 3 points.
Do it, but be disciplined.
Yeah, it's just what a guy. What a guy. Loser of the week. Do you wanna? He takes a swig of his water while he
get ready for this one.
Some deep breaths.
So, right, my loser of the week. We might lose some listeners from this loser of the week, but I'm okay with it. So, as you know, I was away this weekend in Portugal, having a wonderful time in the Algarve. However, no matter where you are in the world, if somebody's in a football top, 100% they're English. That's a given. That's no questions asked. But 90% chance they're in a Leeds United top. I don't get it. Fully grown men who go on holiday, they leave the house, they do the checks. You check your wallet, you check your pocket. Sorry, right, I've got my phone, my wallet, my passport. Oh yeah, travel toothpaste. As you walk, oh don't forget your Leeds United top. And it's only 90% because the other 10% is for the West Ham and Man United fans you see at Stansted. But I've never understood it and never will. I'm sure their other halves are joyous that their husband Barry has got his nice shoes on, new chino shorts paired with his Leeds United 2022-2023 away kit with Bamford on the back at the age of 58 as they go for dinner on the marina to celebrate 40 years of marriage. Well done, Barry. You got your Leeds United top on.
Premier League badges as well.
Everything, the whole lot. You just saw it. I saw it from a mile off. You saw it.
Class.
Their sponsor this year, SBO top. I was like, well, he's wearing a Leeds United top. Idiot. Yeah.
I thought you were just saying on the strip, but out for dinner, Leeds top.
Yeah.
Bamford on the back.
And all sorts. And then, like I said, it's closely followed by West Ham, and then there's a lot of Man United as well. But yeah.
No, I do love the football shirts, but there is a place and a time.
There is, and I get it. Like if you're out with your mates, it's a stag do, it's a laugh, whatever. But
not
when you're with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever. And just put them away.
Leeds. It was funny. We watched that game in the Riverside Inn, and it was a dreadful game because City were just dominant. Missed the penalty, and then within that last 7 minutes, Leeds were threatening. And there were chants in the corner. What's their song?
We all love Leeds.
No, marching on together.
Awful, yeah. The Chelmsford Leeds Brigade.
No, I like that loser of the week.
Go on, yours.
My loser of the week. So I've been. Griff texted me in the week, and was like, "Have you seen what's been going around the web?" And a few listeners have probably seen it after the Arsenal game. A new Twitter account has hit the scene. Jason Tyndall _ Jason Tyndall, desperate to be centre of attention of everything. And it's a Twitter account that is focused on the Newcastle United assistant manager Jason Tyndall, whose prime focus seems to be to get in the foremost pose or anything in any picture, shaking the manager's hand before Eddie Howe can get there, straight to the ref.
Oh,
berating,
Go on, the boys!
And as we go on the 41st minute,
Oh, here we go.
Alkmaar
took the lead.
1-0.
I think the ref's been shocking all game. We've got it on mute. West Ham are fuming. Hopefully it's counted.
Is there VAR in this? I don't think there is. I don't think there's VAR in. There's tears already. I don't think there's VAR in. While we wait, I'll just quickly finish off the Tyndall Brigade. I must beg anyone who has Twitter to please check this out because the account is funny and their tagline is always, "Once you see it, you can't unsee it." And the cameras are going to be on it being BT Sport. It's going to be Leeds versus Newcastle. And the cameras are going to be on him. You're going to have to watch him.
Yeah, there's a few knocking about and a few videos. One of it must be recent or the last season, but I think it's Arsenal. Arteta's going mad at Ben White and stuff, and then Tyndall's in the back, like talking to the full official. Like, it's brilliant. It's very funny.
And Newcastle actually tweeted out this afternoon a picture of him with the goat emoji, so they're obviously aware of it. He's got to be aware of it. But
very good.
Before we revert back to the teaser, just saw the goal there. It looked like a. Is that a push? Is that a push? Not at all.
Very easy.
AZ have broke, played it out wide, and it looks like he hits it near post.
Yeah,
Keeper better.
Well, but looks like the goalie probably at fault. Let's have a look. Brings it back. Gets at his feet. No one's near him. Has a little pop. Bounces right in front of the goalie, but yeah, they'll be upset about that. But up the AZ.
You got to be disappointed. And who was it?
Rinders.
I'm not Dutch. I'm not going to pronounce that.
He's number 6. He's
number
brilliant.
It's like Callaghan Jagger. Number 6!
Yep, up the boys.
Right, let's end on the teaser. Burnley have recently won the Championship and became the 6th side to do so on 2 separate occasions. Can you name the other 5 teams to have won the Championship twice?
Norwich?
Correct.
Who have won it twice? Fulham?
No.
I'm throw some teams out. I have no idea. Cardiff?
No. I'll give you a clue. 2 are in the Premier League right now.
Really? Villa?
No.
Oh, mate, I'm hopeless.
Villa have only been relegated once.
Oh, no, I have no idea what's going on.
Head's gone.
He's had a gone one. That's all I care about. Bournemouth?
Nope.
No, mate. Just tell me. This is terrible.
Newcastle United. Reading. Sunderland.
Really?
And Wolves.
I'll never get that question.
So Burnley, Newcastle, Norwich, Reading, Sunderland, and Wolves.
Very nice. Didn't Reading got relegated, didn't they, this year, I think?
Yes, points deduction and got relegated. Yeah, they sacked points, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they finished 3rd from bottom. 3 go down that league, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Very nice.
That brings end to episode 46.
Mm.
We'll be back next week on our usual Monday, I believe. Yeah.
Normal time next week.
Review of the Premier League weekend that was. Hopefully some drama. Hopefully some talking points. Mm. Come on, Sean Dyche.
Told you.
Dyche, baby.
Get him in there and keep him up.
But it'll be interesting. We'll Sam Allardyce. Let's end on a quick prediction. Let's pick a game, a random game here. Let's do Leeds Newcastle then. Leeds Newcastle. 12:30.
I'm gonna go Newcastle 3, Leeds 1.
I'm gonna go Leeds 2, Newcastle 1. I'm going for Big Sam. He's got to get a win.
Yeah, and they'll beat us the last game of the season.
When they're already down.
Yeah, that's their
5-1 away.
That's their win. That's Tottenham, nothing to play for. Easiest game of the season. No, if that bottom 3 goes down as it is, that is delightful. Leeds, Leicester, join Southampton. That'd be good.
Perfect. Right. Thank you very much for listening, and another enjoyable show. Hopefully.
Yep.
Keep following. Keep doing all your stuff on the Instagram. It's great. We all really appreciate it, and we're back next week. So stay loyal.
Stay loyal.